then. Which one's this one? Japanese children again?
No, this is the background. It's this one. Yeah.
Oh, it's this. I saw you got this mixed up.
The lattice. The lattice background. It's another of the in the new set.
So that's the rose frame that you just saw Jay demonstrate with, and the lattice frame, and the cameo is included as well.
I just wanted to show, you know, if you're into decoupage or, you know, any toppers that you've got, you can use these as backgrounds.
And I think particularly these designs, they're so useful.
And exactly.
It's not identifiable as a particular theme.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm going to show you the embossing now. I've got the ground caliber, so I can only show you it working with the ground caliber. You'll know which sandwich to use for your particular machine. Look, everything's covered in glitter.
You're a proper crafter.
I know, yeah. What I tend to do is, to save sort of turning it upside down, is I'll put my pink mat down, I'll put my buff mat, then I'll put my paper, then my mask. Whereas normally you'd put your mask, then your paper, then your mat. But by the time you sort of try and put your mat over, it's moved unless you tape it down. So I tend to do it back to front. I just find it easier. So you've got your pink, your tan mat, your paper, then your mask, and then your base plate. Okay. I'm just going to run it through. If you don't have an embossing machine, obviously you can do it by hand with a light box, depending on how intricate the mask is. It could take you a long time.
An embossing tool, a ball tool?
Yes, yeah, just with a ball tool, obviously, you know, it'll still work, so don't think, oh, well, I haven't got a machine, so I can't use it. You can still use it. Now it's actually sort of attached to my paper now because it's been pushed through. I'm actually going to leave it like that, not disturb it, because I'm going to ink through it. Okay. If it comes off, it doesn't really matter. It's just that it does make difference. You know, if you don't have to tape it down. Let's move these out of the way. Okay, so that's there. Right, I'm going to use this lovely hydrangea topper. So I'm sort of going to look for my pinks and my purples. So what are we using? We're using Dusty Concord, Victorian Velvet, Warm Lipstick. And I tend, like I say, I tend to use the same, you know, all the reds and the pinks will go on one brush. You know, I don't mess about with the, you know, different brushes. Okay. Right, okay. And it's funny with these inks, it doesn't matter what colour you put down, they all seem to go. Matte, you know, it doesn't really matter. You think, oh, I don't think that'll go with that, but it actually does. So you can just have a play.
And just in the same kind of blending as on the background of your topper there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So if you've got these inks sitting at home and you're not using them, why not?
You're in trouble now.
You're in trouble. I want to know why. So I'm just sort of splodging it about. Let's go in for some more of the purpley colour. Make it a bit darker. Like I say, if you use the pads, the foam tool, then it does go. This will go dark eventually, but it gives you, it gives you a bit more time to mess about with it.
You're in a bit more control. It's not a shock when you put it down, is it?
No. Right. Now, the other thing with this, it doesn't really show up much on this one, but with your mask, that mask now is covered in ink. So if I put my finger on it, you can see it's got ink all over it. Now, you can clean it off with, you know, your baby wipe or whatever, but why waste it when you can actually use that ink? Really? So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off. Okay,
wow,
so you've got,
it really stands out.
Yeah, but you, as I say, you've got all that ink left on there. Now, if I get my embossing plates again, sorry. Yeah. But this time we're going to use the cutting plate. Going to use your base plate and your cutting plate. Now, obviously, I've been cutting on mine, so I make sure I only ever cut on one side. Okay, so you've got one clean side. So all I'm going to do is get a spritz of water. I'm just going to spritz it from afar.
Just to waken it up a bit.
Just to waken it up. I'm going to put it down on my mat, put my paper on it. Try not to move it once it goes down. Then my base plate, cutting plate, and send it back through. Obviously with more brighter inks, it'll probably show up more, but I'll just wanted to show you the combination, because you're not using your tan matte on this one, you're just using your 2 plates. Okay, let's see.
Wow!
So now you've got
you've
the
got a
opposite.
mottled mark from the water spray as well.
And I actually sometimes prefer, it looks like
that's nice,
watercolour, doesn't it? So you've got the 2 opposites now. So don't sort of, you know, yes, you can clean your mask off, but why waste the ink? Now, so you know, you can put that away then. You've got another one for another project. So yeah, you've got both. I mean, and some of the designs as well, because they're masks rather than stencils, you think, oh, well, I'd quite like it, like the one with the dress form and everything. You'd like to be able to see that rather than the background.
Yeah.
Well, exactly the same.
Oh, okay.
You know, make yourself a background, or even, you know, spray the actual mask itself and then use it. And also it cleans it for you when you do it. Okay, let's pop them out the way. So yeah, as I say, 2 ways of using them as well. Don't sort of always think you've got to just, you know, mask, because it's a mask, you're actually painting the background rather than the image itself.
Yeah.
Whereas a stencil, you're painting the image. Okay, so I've got a card here. I should really clean that first, but it doesn't matter. I did find it, there it is. Oh, actually though, I'll use this, it's quicker. Right, I've got a thing for rounding edges off. I bought one of these rounders and that's it now, everything gets rounded. Okay. What you could do as well is just sort of ink around the edge of that, so it gives it a bit more definition. The inks are so brilliant.
I have a question, Sarah, about your brushes. Are those kind of readily available?
They're on here. They're Inkylicious brushes,
oh, okay.
And they do have them on here from time to time, yeah. And I use a lot of her stamps as well. I love her stuff. Okay, let's pop that on there. And I've got, this is from, which of these my CDs that you have on from time to time? This is from Secret Garden, I think, this image. So if you've got my CDs, then you've got, where shall I put it? There, I think.
It's nice to one side like that.
Yeah. And it's such lovely colours, this. I use this a lot on wedding cards, this image. Let's just roll it a little bit.
My mother-in-law has a huge hydrangea right outside the front of the house. I'll make a nice gift for her, it's lovely. My
children bought me a gorgeous one for Mother's Day this year, and I planted it out in the garden, and the very next day, it's when we had all that snow.
Oh,
and it killed. Well, I'm hoping it's going to come back, but at the moment it's actually doesn't look very happy at all.
I did the opposite. My son and his wife bought me a clematis for Christmas. I'm not very good with the clematises, so I kept it indoors because I didn't want to put it out. It grew all around the kitchen. Oh. It's on the beams. It's been flowering. It thinks it's summer in there, and I still daren't put it outside because it's so used to being indoors now.
Yeah, well that's it, isn't it? Oh, bless. I've actually sprayed this with a bit of glitter spray as well, first of all, just to give it a bit more dimension.
And your Pinflair glue gives it the height, doesn't it?
Yeah, I love Pinflair glue.
Everybody does.
I know, I don't think... What did we do before she invented it? I mean, she brought it to us, rather. And I've got a little sentiment here. Okay.
It's all about the colour, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
The colours just tie in really well together.
That's it. I mean, like I say, I could have used spray inks on that. I could have used pan pastels. The only reason I didn't use the pan pastels is because mine are all pink. They're not purpley. Yeah. They're the wrong colours, the ones I've got. But there you go. So, you know, nice, quick and simple. Oh, got some more stuff. That's for the inside.
You've got the embossing and the colouring on there.
That's it. And you don't have to emboss it. You know, again, if you haven't got an embossing machine, don't think, oh, I'm going to miss out. You didn't need to emboss that, but it does give it another element because it's raised.